Before we talk about money, investments, side hustles, savings, or wealth, I want to talk about something much deeper, because I've watched people receive excellent financial advice and do absolutely nothing with it. Not because they were lazy, not because they weren't intelligent, not because they lacked opportunities, but because something invisible was driving their decisions. Something so familiar, it didn't feel like a belief anymore. It felt like reality. And that's the dangerous thing about beliefs. The strongest ones don't feel like opinions, they feel like facts. That's what we're talking about today, the broke mindset. Now, before you get defensive, a broke mindset is not the same thing as being broke. Those are two completely different things. There are people with very little money who think abundantly, and there are people with millions who still think like they're one emergency away from disaster. A broke mindset isn't about the amount in your account. It's about the story running underneath your decisions. Let me introduce you to Nadia. Nadia was 29, talented, creative, and frustrating to watch. You know those people who have all the ingredients but never seem to bake the cake? That was Nadia. Everybody around her could see her potential, except Nadia. She worked as a graphic designer, good at her job, good with people, sharp thinker, the kind of person who always had brilliant ideas during meetings, the kind of person everyone said should start her own agency one day. But every time an opportunity appeared, Nadia became a professional escape artist. A former colleague offered her a major freelance contract. She found reasons not to take it. A mentor encouraged her to raise her prices. She found reasons not to do it. A friend invited her into a business partnership. She found reasons it wouldn't work. And on the surface, it looked like caution, responsible caution, thoughtful caution. But underneath it was fear. Because deep down, Nadia had a belief she had never spoken out loud. Success was for other people, not her. Not people from her background. Not people who grew up a way she did. Not people like her. Now here's what's interesting. Psychologists call this a self-limiting belief. Research has consistently shown that what people believe about their own abilities significantly influences the actions they take, the risks they're willing to accept, and even the opportunities they notice. In simple English, your beliefs don't just describe your life, they shape it. If you believe you're bad with money, you'll often avoid learning about money. If you believe successful people are different from you, you'll unconsciously avoid opportunities that could make you successful. The brain loves consistency. It works overtime to make your actions match your beliefs, which means sometimes the biggest obstacle in your life isn't outside you. It's a conclusion you reached years ago. And Nadia had reached hers a long time ago. She just didn't realize it. The funny thing is that most limiting beliefs don't arrive dramatically. Nobody knocks on your door and says, "Hello, I'd like to install insecurity into your operating system." It happens slowly, quietly. A comment here, an experience there, a disappointment, a rejection, a sentence repeated often enough to become truth. For Nadia, it started in childhood. She grew up hearing things like, "We're not rich people. Be realistic. Don't get your hopes up. People like us have to struggle." Now, her parents weren't trying to harm her. They were trying to prepare her for life. But children don't always hear what adults mean. Children hear what adults repeat, and repetition becomes belief. Years later, those beliefs were still making decisions for her. But Nadia isn't the only story, because sometimes a broke mindset wears a completely different outfit. Meet David. David was 36, project manager, excellent salary, nice apartment, reliable car, annual vacations, the kind of life that looks successful from the outside. If you met him, you would probably assume money wasn't one of his problems, but every month followed the same pattern. Payday arrived, David felt relief, not gratitude, relief. Then a few days later, the anxiety returned. Every single time. No amount ever felt safe enough. No amount ever felt sufficient. There was always a voice in the background saying, "What if it disappears? What if something goes wrong? What if everything falls apart?" So David saved, aggressively, obsessively, for years, but he never invested, never built assets, never allowed his money to grow, because saving felt safe, investing felt dangerous. Friends talked about opportunities. David nodded politely. People recommended books. He bought them and left them unread. The issue wasn't information. The issue was fear. And fear is fascinating, because fear rarely introduces itself as fear. Fear usually disguises itself as wisdom or caution or responsibility. Everybody praised David for being careful. Nobody realized he was terrified. Then something happened. One Sunday he was visiting his mother. She brought out an old photo album, and while flipping through it, David found a picture from when he was 8 years old, standing beside his father, and instantly a memory came back. The electricity had been disconnected that month. His parents had spent weeks stressed about money. His father barely slept. His mother worried constantly. And somewhere in the mind of an 8-year-old boy, a belief formed. Money disappears. Money isn't safe. Nothing lasts. The little boy grew up. The belief stayed. And 30 years later, a grown man was still making financial decisions from the fears of the child. That's more common than people realize. Researchers have found that many money habits are formed surprisingly early in life, long before people ever earn significant income. By the time many adults start making financial decisions, they already have deeply rooted emotional associations with money. Some associate money with security, some associate it with conflict, some associated with guilt, some associated with fear. And unless those beliefs are examined, they quietly drive behavior for decades. Now let's come back to Proverbs. As he thinks in his heart, so is he. Notice what the verse doesn't say. It doesn't say, as he earns, or as he wishes, or as he dreams. It says, as he thinks, because every financial behavior starts as a thought. Every investment, every purchase, every risk, every opportunity accepted or rejected, every one of them begins in the mind. Nadia believed opportunity wasn't for her. David believed opportunity was dangerous. Different stories, same prison. Nadia avoided opportunities because she felt inadequate. David avoided opportunities because he felt unsafe. Different fears, same result. Both stayed stuck. And honestly, most people listening are probably carrying some version of one of those stories. Maybe yours sounds like, I'm terrible with money. I'll never earn that much. I don't understand investing. Rich people are greedy. People like me don't build wealth. I missed my chance. I started too late. The question isn't whether you have beliefs about money. You do. Everyone does. The question is whether you've examined them, because unexamined beliefs become invisible ceilings. You stop trying, not because something is impossible, but because you've already decided it is. And the brain is incredibly loyal to the stories it believes, which is why evidence matters. You don't overcome limiting beliefs by staring into a mirror and chanting affirmations. You overcome them through experience, through action, through collecting new evidence. A mentor eventually gave Nadia an assignment. For 30 days, she had to write down every negative thought she had about money, success, opportunity, and wealth. No arguing with the thoughts, no judging them. Just writing them down. The results shocked her. By the end of the month, she had pages of beliefs she didn't even know she was carrying. Not facts, stories, inherited narratives, old assumptions, fear dressed as wisdom. And seeing them on paper changed everything, because suddenly they looked less like truth and more like programming. Old programming, outdated programming, programming that needed an update. David had his own breakthrough. A financial coach asked him one question: if your money never grows, what exactly are you protecting it for? The question bothered him for weeks because he realized something. His entire financial life was built around avoiding loss, not creating growth. Avoiding loss. Growth and protection both matter, but a life built entirely around protection eventually becomes a cage. And for the first time, David started investing small amounts. Nothing dramatic, nothing reckless. Just enough to challenge the story he'd been living inside. And that's where real change begins. Not with giant leaps, with small acts of evidence. Evidence that maybe you're more capable than you thought. Evidence that maybe the story isn't true. Evidence that maybe your future doesn't have to look exactly like your past. Because here's what I've learned. Most people don't need more financial information. There are thousands of books, thousands of podcasts, thousands of videos. Information is everywhere. What people often need is permission to question the story they've been carrying. The story that says, this is just who I am. Because it probably isn't. It might just be who you've been. And those are not the same thing. So here's your assignment. Grab a notebook and answer these questions honestly. What did I learn about money growing up? What do I believe wealthy people did to become wealth? If this message hit different, if something in your spirit just shifted, don't let it stop there. Hit like, not for the numbers, but because there's a steward somewhere still scrolling who needs to find this. Share it with the one who's been praying for breakthrough, but hasn't had the word broken down with receipts yet. And subscribe to Bible Rebooted. We're not here to make you feel good. We're here to hand you the truth and show you what to do with it. Manage it like it was never yours. It's your boy Dave Solara, signing out. Like, subscribe, and stream the music.
Your deepest despair, I am right there. Your pain is my pain. Your burden I bear. I see you, I counted every tear. When your own heart was scolding. In the betrayal, the not forgotten.
You are not forgotten.
I see you.